So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to learn how to make a contact sheet in Lightroom. A contact sheet is just a way to present multiple images on a single page or a few pages for someone to take a look at and make choices from. So we're in the library module and I have a collection of my top 60 for assignment number 1 here. And I'm going to use those 60 to make a contact sheet from. So I'm going to go over into the print module. You'll see that when we come into the print module, we have a preview panel up here. We have a set of templates in the template browser, and below that we have our collections with our top 60. So I'm going to start with the template that says 4x5 contact sheet. You can see that it creates 4 columns and 5 rows, and it has the image that's selected in one of those squares. If I come down to my film strip and do Command A and select all of my images, you can see it fills all the squares, and it's now telling me that it's page number 1 of 3. So I'm going to use this as sort of the start for creating my contact sheet, and I'm going to modify this to have 30 images on the page instead of the 20. So in order to do that, I'm going to stay in single image contact sheet as my layout style. I'm going to leave all of the image settings unchecked. I don't want to zoom to fill. You can see that makes the images larger and crops in on them. I do not want to rotate them. I want them all to be the way that I have them presented here. I don't want to repeat one per page, and I do not want a border around them. I know it looks like there's a border around them right now. That's just our guides that's showing us our image cells. You can see that we can kind of take that off. So then the next section down is the layout. And the margins are pretty much set. I can come into page setup and I can change my printer and I can change my page size. I'm going to leave it for any printer, and it's going to create these borders, these margins that are 1/4 inch on the top and the sides and just over 1/2 inch on the bottom. And that's a standard inkjet printer border. Now I can come down to where it says page grid and I can add rows, and I can add as many rows as I want. And I can add columns, and I can keep adding columns. And you see how it sort of automatically spaces it out. I'm going to go to 5 rows, or 5 columns and 6 rows. And that takes me from my 20 images to 30 images. But now we can see that those images are pretty tightly spaced together. So I'm going to come down to my cell spacing, and I'm going to change my horizontal spacing because that's really where they're tightly together. I'm going to move that over just a little bit, maybe 1/10 of an inch. So you can see that just that 0.1 of an inch gives me just enough little border to kind of let each image be in its own place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and make sure that the photo info is turned on and that it's for the file name. All I want is the file name. I don't want anything else. That lets me have a reference point for my images. So when I send these 2 pages of 60 images, 30 per page, someone can look at them and say, oh, image number 8646 on page 1 is the one that I want, right? Kind of makes sense. Gives us a reference point. The next thing that I'm going to do in order to get this out of Lightroom is I'm going to come down to the print job menu and click on where it says printer next to print to, and the drop-down menu comes and I can choose JPEG file. I want to leave my resolution at 300 and my quality at 100%. You can leave the profile at sRGB, that's totally fine, and the intent can stay at whatever was the default. And then you'll see that at the bottom right we have this button that says print to file. And when I say print to file, I can then go to my thumb drive and I can save this, and I'm going to name it my name, and I'm going to call it assignment 1, and then I'm going to do contact sheet. Right? So I'm putting it on my thumb drive. I'm calling it my name, assignment 1 contact sheet. I hit save, and you can see the progress bar in the upper left here as Lightroom is saving off this contact sheet. Now, there isn't an option in the templates for a 30 image contact sheet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own template by clicking on the little plus button here, and that'll bring up this dialog box, and I can call this a 30 image contact sheet. And it's going to save into my user templates. And so when I create that, you can see under user templates, it has 30 image contact sheet. And so now I can utilize that at any time. Here, I'll change to another template. We'll go back to the 4x5 contact sheet. And then if I scroll down here, I can go to the 30 image contact sheet. So you can see that we can create our own templates and easily access them and have them. So now the file has been exported. I'm going to go out to my Finder. And we're going to look in my thumb drive. And you can see that it's created a folder that says W Hair Assignment 1 Contact Sheet. And inside of it is page 1 and page 2 of my contact sheet. Right there, 2 JPEGs. You can see if I preview them, there they are. Everything's in there. And that border, that dark edge that we saw, the guide, is not in there. It's just the images and the image names.